welcome to the Party Crafter Podcast. This show is for craft business owners that are looking to build their business and stop chasing orders. I'm Leslie Frederick, and this is my husband, Mike Frederick, co-host. We built a six-figure business while working 9 to 5 from the basement of our own home. In every episode, we want to give you strategies and systems to do the same.
Let's get into it.
Joann Fabric is gone. I think it's been gone for over a year. We're in February 2026. And I tell you, a lot of craft businesses depended on Joann's. And you were all used to walking into a store and getting your supplies and everything you need and starting your production, starting your craft, selling and making sales. And once they closed down, a lot of people didn't know what to do. So this isn't about retail gossip. It's about business being frail and what happened when Joann's closed. Because word on the street, a lot of people didn't know what to do. And that was a problem. So, welcome to season 2 of the Party Crafter Podcast. So, we are going to be talking about protection and strategy. Because something simple as Joann's protection and strategy, a lot of people fail to implement that in their craft business. So I'm going to talk about what actually happened because, Michael, we ran plenty of times. We've gone to Joann's and people have done like Joann runs. And Joann's was it's been around for a long time. Popular as far as retail storage. You would go there for all types of things. We would go there for cardstock. Two favorite ones like glitter cardstock and fabric for years. They went bankrupt, and bankruptcy like filed twice and stuff. And for crafters, we were wondering, how did you go bankrupt? Because it seems like I was there all the time and I felt like I was shopping, but you know what, the overall picture through the years, that impacted as far as the bankruptcy. And then also, of course, like with the COVID time and stuff, as far as bankruptcy, because it was plenty. So I know I shopped at Joann. So you know what, to find out they went bankrupt, that was just definitely disheartening. So with that store closing, it left us with other retail stores that we often frequent, is like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, and you may have some small. And then also online too as well. So, and then market consolidation. So the key thing is when Joann's closed, just because Joann's closed, that shouldn't have shifted your business or stopped far as your business, far as strategy. When it did, for those that were solo dependent on Joann's, it really made you fragile. And it made you fragile because I had a lot of DMs like, oh, this is the color plan. This one, I don't even know the SKU number. I don't even know the brand. And I've been using this particular brand or this particular color. A lot of crafters, they didn't even keep a record of that. That alone in itself is an inventory thing, is another topic, because you need to know what type of inventory. But they didn't even know where to get it. So they would have orders and like you can't fulfill it. So one of the things is, the problem is, if you solo single source dependency on a store like Joann's, you leave yourself open and vulnerable for a lot of things. And most crafters, you know, we have our favorite places to go, and you don't have a backup plan. You don't have no wholesale relationship. You don't have no pricing recalculation, because once you take out Joann's, Michael's was like, hey, we're the only person on the street now. We don't need to have discounts. Now, and remember the DoorDash, you know, with Joann's, now all your pricing and stuff that you used to could get, especially for paper crafters, like the 10 for 2 or the cardstock, all that eliminates and goes into your price. So now you're paying full price for things. So if your main supplier disappeared tomorrow,
What would you do?
how many days can you operate? So I'm going to say you must have one local retail source. You need to have a wholesale. And you need to have someone online and direct. And we have all three. So if you don't have 3 supply sources for every core material, your business is fragile. And that is, I know one thing, one quick item that we looked and researched is like bubble bubble wrap, because we use it a lot. Our core person, and the only reason we keep our Sam's Club membership is for bubble wrap. So our core source is Sam's. They sell it at Uline. We know we can buy it there, but it's still cheaper at Sam's Club. So we would do for our Sam's Club. And then we have an online vendor. So we do, and we know where to go. So if they don't have it, but we try not to get it there. But you need to know where for all materials, because things happen. People discontinue. And that's another one, like the 3M brand for our adhesive spray. And we learned immediately with that, especially with COVID, that we had to different stores, the Home Depot, we actually ate. So we learned through the years of depending on one place to get one material, how it could change. Where you, for one thing, you don't have, you have to, eliminate far as a sale. So when and that goes in with pricing, and the place where we had to, using the adhesive spray as an example, it'll cost more. So the pricing connection, so basically when the supply cost changed, we had to recalculate a lot of stuff immediately because the margins and stuff. So Joann's closing wasn't a retail story. It was a warning for a lot of people, because a lot of people were shocked. And I think some people still haven't gotten over it because they're not used to the online. So remember, you need like 3 sources, know your numbers, and move your prices.
So why does this matter so much to a small craft business, like somebody just doing this out of their house?
Because a lot of times we go with convenience. I can go right up the street and I'm just going to Joann's. And a lot of times also, that's just, we took our hobby to a business. That's where I went. That's where I first was introduced to the materials that I need to create. So going to a local store like that. So that's where I was going. So we go where it's convenient. We go where I can touch, feel, see. And that's how it works. So, and that's where I went. And I was used to it being there. Just very familiar. Whoever thought that it was going to disappear. So, and this is one of the things that happens when you depend on one single source far as to go to. And in today's environment, we got turfs and stuff that's going on, so making a lot of things unpredictable. So one single source of business and rising costs of material, I saw a lot of shrinking, like margins and stuff. So that's one of the things that a lot of people face.
So did this affect our business directly?
For Joann's closing, no. Joann's closing, no, because one of the things that we've already we had systems in place. So for example, 2 items that we only really got from Joann's was the gold glitter cardstock and roller. We knew the vendor, we would keep the SKU numbers, so if Joann's didn't have it, I knew where to get it elsewhere. So I never depended solo on far as Joann's. Now, rising costs and stuff with turfs and stuff, yes, that has affected far as business, but that goes into costs. And with other stores, when you don't have competition, since the Joann's is gone, like Hobby Lobby or Michael's, we never really shop that much on there. But with rising costs, where they feel, hey, I don't have to have a big discount anymore because Joann's is not my competitor anymore, we would put those costs into and move those costs over to the customer. Okay, so I want to just also touch bases on supply sourcing, and this is one of the things, just figuring out, and we figured this out early. This was way before Joann's, and I would get this one product from Joann's all the time, and it was the double-sided adhesive roller, the small mini one. So when we opened our physical store at Etsy in 2017, this is one of the things I would get to make these centerpieces, and I was utilizing that so much, and where the cost to these little adhesive things to make the centerpiece, it was getting more because they only had so much. And this was before me knowing anything about the advanced tape glider. So I had to do a lot of research. I'm like, I'm going to have to shift away from this product. And where else can I buy this other than Joann? Something else, because I didn't see what I needed at Joann. So that's where, if I started looking, that there are other craft stores or other stores that sell products. They necessarily may not be a craft store, but they sold a supply that I could use for crafting. So that's how I started looking, where I had to look, and that was in 2017, before Joann's was, we're leaving and all that. Had to look and see where else I could start. So that's where my first introduction of, don't depend on one place for your supplies. And that was because that particular supply I noticed was increasing more. So that's one of the things that I did on here. So what smart craft businesses do, and basically this, as far as I'm saying, is that's the solution. I learned from early that you need to have 3 places minimum of where you get things from. So yes, you can have, far as the retail source, if you want. So if you want to go to like Michael's craft stores or wherever you want, but also you need to have an online far as store that you can purchase the items from. You also need like a wholesale, like a direct. So we do have flyers like wholesale. We use Amazon, we use Uline. There's a lot of stores online that you can use. I try to minimize me directly going into the store, except maybe Home Depot, because it's just easier and quicker. But that is what I do. That's what I recommend.
So some people have never used a wholesaler. How do you go, if you've never done that, how do you go about finding a wholesaler?
As far as with the wholesaler, just went online. So just a perfect example, piggyback to the double-side adhesive. I started like, is there adhesive? I mean, actually, I would go to YouTube University and see if anybody would give, because people were, as they say, wasn't dropping gems or where you can get it. And I would just look at different things, and I was like, oh, that person's a wood, they work with wood. That's a wood glue. Where can I buy this? Or I see someone working with paper and they're using, where can I buy this? So it was research. You have to, just like anything, you have to put in the time and research, because I knew there was a way for me to do it. And that's with everything, just learning. Either one, you do it one way, or then you learn how to do it another way, just to keep economical on it. So just online. That's what I did. I just went on there. That's what you do, and you start and write it down. And that's how I did it. I would search materials. I would search wholesale adhesive manufacturers, especially with acrylic. That one was a big one, because I liked acrylic and wanted to do the acrylic blocks. And I'm like, I'm not buying this from Amazon. Because the cost we would tell the customer, and that's a different segment. But I was like, I gotta get this cheaper. And I'm always like, where do they get it from? So also start with supplies that you use. So that's one of the best ways of finding wholesales. Like, just go online with it. Also talk to fellow crafters, see who they may use if they want to share that information with you. But the information is out there. Start online. That's the best way, just online. We all have it. And also you can use AI as ChatGPT. Where can I purchase this? Or what is a good solution for this? So that way, once you get far as the supplies, make sure your prices are right. So if your supply cost goes up and your prices don't, your margin disappears. So most crafters, they start to absorb the cost silently, because we know, like, okay, it's costing me more, but some people feel very uncomfortable about putting that into their price. You start to internalize it and put it on yourself without adjusting your price. So every time you lose a supplier, or if the supplier increases their cost, you either, one, you look for a cheaper alternative, or two, you're going to have to raise your prices. It's just simple math. There's really only two options. Either A, find someone, and I can sit and tell you for one, it was one product that we had that we were selling, and I could not find another supplier for these 10 by 10 by 8 glossy gift boxes. They were heavy duty, and we would get them from Uline. And I have Excel sheet from when we first started using them, and for I think 30, because they weren't in 50, came in quantity of 30 because they're really heavy, or 30 or 50. I don't want to say 50. It was $100. Now it's double. I couldn't. I just far as just the cost of it, and I could not find it cheaper at all. And because of the cost, and it was so heavy, even on a wholesale vendor where I could find it overseas, it was not feasible to have it shipped via air. I would have to buy really in bulk and have it shipped overseas for a product like that. So for me, that product, since I couldn't find it cheaper anywhere else, and it was other vendors that sold it, but the price was the same, I had to discontinue that product, and that was it. And that's what we decided to do.
So what stops you from just raising the price of the item?
Well, a lot of people, it's just one, I would go with time, because we were so busy, like, I mean, you may get like, hey, I need to increase the price. I found it. And then you got to remember, this is a business. Because then you realize it maybe afterwards, because, I found this place that sell it. I can keep going, and we're into that. I'm moving, and I am producing. And you don't even think. Especially if you already took in the order. Because that's what a lot of times you're like, it's no problem. I can get me this brown car. So I'm like, we discontinued it, or the person here. And, I got it. You didn't even think to increase your price. And that's one of the things I do, especially for new stuff. I don't give people a price immediately. I will look and see how much things cost and put that into it. So, and that's where I say most people don't know their numbers, so they get fear or imposter syndrome, like, okay, I don't feel that it's worth that. I don't feel I'm worth it enough to charge that. So that's one of the things that people, so you gotta really know your actual numbers. And that's one of the things with the product here where we discontinued. We knew the numbers, and that one where I couldn't even put a filling on it, it was like, I'm not gonna sell it. When I had to look at the numbers, how many did I actually sell? Did it justify for me even to get that product overseas and have it delivered? It didn't justify. It didn't justify that at all. So for me, the decision was sell it until everything sold out and discontinue it. And that's what I did. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. Joann's closing wasn't the end. It's just a retail story. It happens. If you remember Kmart's for some, it's plenty. Sears, J.C. Penney's, stores like that. AC Moore, which we used to get a lot of craft stuff from. A lot of stores close. It happens, but it is a warning. If your business depends on one store, one supplier, or one platform, and that can even go for social media, you are on one bad day from being in a crisis. If you put it, as they say, you put all your eggs in one basket, that is a problem. So for my suggestion here, 3 sources for every material. You should have this down. Put it down in the cheat sheet, something where you can go, your backup on here. We always say, hey, I got a plan B. Sometimes you need a plan C. That's really what it means. I got plan A. If they don't have it, plan B, plan C. Know your numbers. And when your costs go up, your prices have to go up. That's how you protect what you built. So if you don't have a clear picture of your actual costs and your pricing and your profit margin, right? Now that's exactly why I have created the 7-day party decor business starter kit. I mean, this workbook will walk you through all these steps, and the link is in the show notes. So guess what? Episode 2 is dropping in 2 weeks, and we are talking about pricing for profit. So when supply costs goes up, we got these tariffs and stuff going on. What connects directly to everything we just covered today? Because after today, you will not depend on one solo source. So make sure you subscribe to us so you don't miss it. So until we meet, have a blessed day.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And if this episode helped you, share it with someone that it may help too as well. And make sure you have subscribed to all of our social media platforms at The Party Crafter.
See you next time.